All right. Happy Monday, y'all. Thanks for taking time out of your busy days. We are going to make this as time conscious as possible. You do not know me. It's so nice to meet you. My name is Morgan Johnson, and I have been with Plexus for over 8 years, right around there. And I am a mama of four children in the ministry and super busy, as you can imagine. We travel all over the place. And 8 years ago, I saw my friend Krista. So it's fun to do this call with her, hosting. And I watched her life radically change. You're going to get to hear her testimony. And I got to see that in real person. And I didn't really know much about gut health. I didn't really know a lot about natural health in general. I just thought I was pretty healthy. I was really balanced. I liked fruits and vegetables, salads, but I also really liked chocolate. Like if people knew me, I was the chocolate girl. I needed it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes, you heard me right. Like a chocolate granola bar. For lunch, I was going to have like a Starbucks Frappuccino. And then I was going to top it off with a dessert that night. And if any of y'all are in ministry, you already know, like bring the dessert to the kitchen. And I was at that dessert table, could not control myself, and just thought, I have a self-control problem. And I really like chocolate. So I reached out to Krista because I felt a nudge to try supplements. And I had two people who talked me into it. They had been watching her as well and thought, I want to try those supplements she's been talking about for over a year. We want to try those things out, and you know her the best, so why don't you reach out to her? So I reached out to her and I was like, I'm pretty healthy, but I think I should try supplements because at that time I had three children. I was nursing a 2-month-old, and I was like, I just want to get healthier. I don't know a whole lot about health, but I eat kind of healthy. And she was like, well, most people start on the triplex, and an X Factor vitamin would be really good for you. At that time, we called it the Fab Four. That's what I started on. She told me exactly how to take it. And so that's what I did. I stayed consistent. And within 2 weeks, y'all, I wasn't napping with my kids. I was able to go to the bathroom every single day, which was life changing for me because I was somebody who was chronically constipated. If I was going to travel, I wasn't going to the bathroom. And I thought that that was normal. I thought napping with your kids every day was normal. I thought that my chocolate addiction, it was normal. And I had accepted things that aren't normal to be normal because I was skinny, because I had children, because fill in the blank. But we all are suffering from things from gut health that we don't even realize. The root issue is really what we need to target and not put a band-aid over other things. And so what I love about Plexus is that it does get to the root of our issues. It helps balance out our body and bring change that lasts. So it wasn't something that helped me lose weight really quickly. It was something that fixed my chocolate addiction. It was something that gave me energy. So I wanted to go work out. So I wanted to go on walks or play with my kids. It was something that cleaned out my gut, balanced my hormones, thank you, and really allowed me to be a present mama. I started, though, very secretly and very skeptically. Only the two friends who talked me into trying Plexus knew that I was taking it, and my husband. We were super adverse to the idea of network marketing, and I didn't even really know what I was taking, if I was honest, but I liked how it was making me feel. So I did keep taking it. I actually stopped drinking the pink drink, which is called Slim, because I was pretty skinny and it was the most expensive thing in my combo. And I was like, I'll just get the probiotic, the BioCleanse, which is our magnesium supplement, and the vitamin. I went off the pink drink and I was so tired and noticed such a difference in my hormones. I thought that I was pregnant again. So I reached out to Krista and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a lot of kids. And I have a 4-month-old and I think I might be pregnant again. I'm like, who would you ask? The person who has 6 kids already or 7 kids. How many do you have at that point? I'm not sure. So I reached out to her and she was like, well, you stopped drinking or you stopped ordering that Slim. It might be that Slim was actually doing something for you. And lo and behold, she was correct. I ordered Slim again and realized it really was balancing my blood sugar, which was my master hormone, more than I thought. And it was able to give me that natural energy and sustained hormones that I needed, because how many of y'all know after you have babies, your hormones go a little crazy and you need a little extra something. I'm particularly prone to low blood sugar. So I drink my Slim after I eat protein and I feel amazing. It balances out my body so well. So we say around here, Plexus is a big deal. B, it balances your blood sugar. I, it reduces your inflammation. And G, it's going to work on your gut. All right, I didn't get here because I was keeping this a secret, but what happened after I took these supplements and my two friends did too? Guess what? Those two friends actually started for a different reason than I did. They didn't just feel a nudge to reach out to Krista and had basic issues. One of them reached out to her because she was struggling hardcore with anxiety. And I watched it help her with a plethora of different things. And then my other friend, she was having hot flashes and she wanted her daughter to lose weight. And I was like, wait, it's working for them. Like Julie's sleeping so much better and it took away her hot flashes. And then it did this for me. And then I was on an info page full of testimonies of tons of different people who had experienced different things that were connected to blood sugar, inflammation, or gut health. And I was like, I have a gift in my hand that I could share with other people. And I'm really being selfish, not sharing it with them. I felt this huge nudge from the Lord to just start sharing. And I'm like, Lord, I don't know if that's really you. Like, is that really you? But like, Lord, if this is you, I will post once a day for a year and I'll just see where this thing goes. Because I really thought it was about laying down my pride and just saying yes to whatever the Lord asked me to. So I posted once a day for a year. And at the end of the year, I had earned a trip that I didn't know I had earned. I had a full-time, almost teacher's salary. And I had realized that these supplements really were life-changing to so many different people. It wasn't just before and afters that I was kind of like, is that really you before and after? No, I watched people not have migraines daily, come off allergy medicine, come off tons of different medicines and tons of different things. It's not something that's like, it's not healing everything, but it's a tool to help you in a huge way with your health and your finances. I absolutely love the opportunity of Plexus, and I boldly share about that now, where before I was like, what even is this? Where even am I? And I'm like so confused why everybody wouldn't share supplements or jump into the opportunity, because one, I had a business without really even doing anything else. I just shared a link and I didn't have to have any inventory. Plexus does almost everything for us. We have a community that's so fun. And I didn't know that I was going to need that community in 2020. As a pastor's wife, I had a thriving church in Lakeland, Florida, and we were doing so well. And then I realized I was actually praying for an opportunity to reach people who weren't saved in a different place. And then I was like, wait, the Lord answered that through network marketing. Like, that is so crazy. Isn't that crazy? And then my return on my investment was more than I ever spent. I pay for my supplements, but actually beyond that, we've been able to bless a pro-life organization. We moved into our dream home that was a 3-bedroom. We turned it into a 6-bedroom and paid cash for all the renovations. We're paying cash for a pool at our house. I've been on 5 luxurious vacations that were dual vacations. They pay for my Lexus. Like, this is a huge deal. And for me, it came simply by sharing and helping people find freedom in their health and in their finances. And it was a personal growth journey for this pastor's wife who needed to grow as a leader, but I got a paycheck all along the way. So it's been the biggest blessing. And I want you to hear from Krista, because her story really was what drew me in. And then she was able to just be a blessing to so many people on our team. So Krista, if you'd go ahead and share a little bit of your story and why you love Plexus.
Yeah, you bet. It never gets old hearing your story again and just reliving what the Lord has done in the last decade now, which is just crazy. So crazy. I was talking with my son Malachi, he's 10 years old, and he doesn't know what life's like without this. But at the time that I heard about Plexus, I look back and I think I fundamentally did not believe you could join a network marketing company and make an income. I also didn't believe that there was a network marketing company that would have supplements better than what I was already taking. And the sad thing is, if the supplements that I was taking were working, I should have been feeling better. I believed in natural health. I had been studying it for years. We were pretty crunchy, had our babies at home, did all natural remedies for our kids and holistic things. I was taking a lot of supplements, but yet all of us in the family had health issues and we weren't improving. And so when I first heard of Plexus, I really turned it off and said no immediately. But hindsight, looking back, I'm like, man, I had some beliefs that were just inaccurate. But one was I just didn't think you could do this. In my mind, I figured, yeah, maybe if you got into these companies like years ago, like I had seen some of like the legacy companies that had been around for a hot second. And if you got in in the 60s, I don't know when they had started, maybe those people, sure, they're sitting on the top, they're doing really good. Or I had seen some people make a lot of money in network marketing who had a lot of inventory, a lot, and they worked a lot of hours and they were doing parties and they were gone a lot and they were working a lot. And I thought, I don't want that. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had just had baby number 7. I'm a homeschooling mom, been homeschooling for 17 years. I had never worked as a mom, like ever. And but at the time of hearing about this, it was simply a message from a friend. She's a pastor's wife in Florida. And she encouraged me to pray about trying Plexus. Her message stuck out. It wasn't like a copy and paste scripted message. It was a friend who genuinely cared about me. Why? Because she had seen me. She had seen my journey. We were in the same homeschool community, and she had seen that I was starting to share about the PTSD. What she didn't know is I was battling anxiety and depression to a pretty big degree. I just was not willing to be humble enough to admit it to people around me. I wasn't even fully admitting it to my husband. It was very obvious, but we didn't really talk about it. So she just reached out and said, Krista, I encourage you to pray about it. I told her, no, I don't really do that stuff, and kind of just went on with my life. But over the next 4 months, I got worse to like October, whatever year that was. October of that year, I hit my breaking point, wanted to go ahead and end my life. Just to be very blunt with you as to where I was at, I was done living. The depression, the anxiety, it had just taken me out. We had just walked through so much in life, so much grief, some trauma. We had walked through a massive financial crisis in 2008 when the market crashed. We lost everything. We were crawling out of that pit when my son Judah, he's our 6th child, he had 2 brain hemorrhages. He almost lost his life. He's now 13, but a lot of his abilities are that of a 6-month-old. So it was just the weariness of caregiving and kids and trauma and hormones and all of it mixed in. My doctor was like, yeah, of course your body's falling apart. You've had a lot of kids. Your hormones have been all over the place. Plus you've had trauma. And I was like, yes, but how do you fix it? He didn't really offer me hope. He was just like, yeah, duh, you've kind of been busy the last decade. So I was really at my breaking point, and that is what led me to say, fine, I'll try this pink drink. It made no sense. I had no idea the Lord was behind it. I knew I couldn't stop thinking about it, but I didn't know the story that God was writing. And it did take hitting a breaking point to lay down my pride and my ego and say, I'll try something different. And maybe what I think I know is just not it. It's just not working. So I started out as a secret customer. I kept my products very hidden in my kitchen. I did not let anyone see, because I was already known as someone who liked natural health. I was the girl that if someone was sick, they came to my house and I gave them probiotics from my fridge. So it was already part of my reputation. I thought, well, heaven forbid they see that I got supplements from a network marketing company and that one is called Slim. And I was always prone to being underweight, actually. So all the more it made no sense. So I tried it for 2 months. By the end of month 2, my kids are like, Mom, you don't cry every day. Remember when you used to cry every day? Like, they were just so innocent and so sweet. And Chad was like, Krista, I haven't seen you like this in years. This is who I married. And we were noticing little things. Some were like so small, but they're big. Like, I didn't need chocolate every day. Like Morgan said, Chad bought me tiramisu and it sat in the fridge for a week. And he was like, what? You would have had this for breakfast 2 months ago, But bigger things like going to sleep at night without irrational thoughts and anxiety and not being able to turn off my brain, waking up happy to be alive after months of waking up so sad and filled with pain, thinking, I don't think I can get through another day. I found myself stable in my hormones. I was used to feeling shaky. Now I understand it. Now I understand the blood sugar hormone connection, but I was used to the fact that every morning I was off and I was snappier with my family than I wanted to be, but I couldn't control it. And I felt shame over that. Here was my kids who I loved more than anything, yet they were getting the worst of me. I would go to bed in the afternoon because I was used to like napping for years. I had napped every day, literally for years at that point. At 7 kids in, I was napping a lot. But I remember going to bed to take a nap and laying there and realizing I'm not tired. What do I do? Like I had all this extra time now while the kids were napping. I could get up. Like there were just these little things happening, right? You come into January, I was 2 months in. January is when I remember people at church now making comments like, Krista, there's life in your eyes. Something's different about your smile. Something shifted over Christmas. Like you must have had a good Christmas. And it was when I was finally willing to be like, whispering, like, have you heard of Plexus? Like I was so nervous, like, oh Lord, I got to admit to them what I'm doing. Business wasn't on the radar like at all, but I was going to have to admit like I'm drinking something and it's like working. So from that point, January 7th actually was the very first day that I admitted on social media, here's what I'm drinking and here's why. So it was beyond just what I was taking. It was also the first time I publicly admitted depression and anxiety. Ever, ever, ever. But what flipped still makes me emotional today. When you're walking through pain and grief, it makes you very self-centered. And I was living a self-centered life. I was very trauma focused. I was pain focused. I was thinking, woe is me. Look at how hard my life is. And was looking inward. And something began to shift where I had a vehicle now and a gift that I could offer to people outside of the walls of my home. And so it was beyond an opportunity. It was beyond fantastic supplements. It offered me something so much bigger and a ripple effect now that has impacted thousands of lives, where we've seen it not just change the game for our family, but it's still something that today I can say you can join and make hundreds, if not thousands, in month 1. That speaks to our compensation plan. That speaks to what we offer. Literally this month, I've helped a few girls this month join and earn hundreds of dollars. And that's how it was for us to get a few $100s back simply by being in my home, no inventory, didn't have any parties. I was sharing my heart on social media, connecting with other people saying, this is working for me and this might help you too. And out of that, we all the more began to keep crawling out of that pit that we had made financially and see breakthrough that we had prayed for at that time for over 7 years. It brought my husband home full time for several years. We traveled together and homeschooled together, and it gave him space to decide, what am I called to do? What am I going to do? Right. Because he had worked before, but not out of passion or necessarily even calling. It was just to make ends meet. So he's now full-time in ministry and loving it. And to see that our family of 10 now, we have 8 kids, we're fully provided for thanks to this, but to give that much room even for Chad to fully step into what he's called to as well, it is beyond a gift that really we don't have time for me to share. So whatever, wherever you're at tonight, our biggest encouragement is this: we are a team that prides ourselves in the fact that we are not going to ever manipulate you or strong arm you into something you're not called to do. We are going to champion you into the center of God's will. We know that he has more for you in your life, that he desires for you to thrive in your body, in your soul, in your spirit, in your finances, in your marriage, in your family, in your friendships, and in your community. And we want you to go after that. We believe this is a great tool. We believe this will help you. I have 110% confidence we can get you on the right supplements and ensure that you're going to see changes in your health. I've been doing it for too long to not believe it, and I 110% believe anyone can do this. Anybody, whether you just need extra shopping money to get groceries at the store. Like for us, it was to get off food stamps and not need coupons anymore. It was a gift to go back to buying what we needed and what would be healthiest for our kids, not just what the food stamps could afford. And so your goal might just be some extra wiggle room each month, but it might be to say goodbye to your day job and to be able to be home full time, or that your spouse is home full time. You might have big dreams that you've tucked in your back pocket and thought, you know what? I'm just going to practice contentment. I don't know if those are for me or not. We're stepping into things and doing things that I wouldn't have even had the courage to dream of, because it would have felt like a setup to just be disappointed, you know? But what's most powerful is this wasn't just for me. I do get to turn around and hand it to others and say, you can do this too. It really is possible. I just got back from Maui with my daughter. She's 18. We take this trip every year. It's a gift trip that's a reward trip for us, and still is nuts and just crazy. But like, I got to take Ellie this time, and usually Chad and I go. But even hearing her realize as she looked around the room, seeing the variety of people, some are single, some are married, some are young, some are old, you know, some are very educated. We have people who came out of working in hospitals as doctors and nurses and homeopathic doctors and midwives, you know, but others that are like me, they're like, hey, college dropout, and I was a mom. Like, that's who I was, you know? So the journey has been so worth it. It's available to anybody. We just encourage you tonight to drop, you know, get into a message with the person who brought you here, ask questions, pray about it, follow peace, make sure you're in agreement with your spouse if you're married. Let's help ensure that you're within your budget too. We want the best for you, and that's what we're going to go after. So feel free to reach out in any way. I know there's a promo code that ends tonight as well, and some different deals. We want to get them in your hands, but just know that we believe in you. We believe in God's best for you. And we're so grateful to have you on tonight. We'll talk to you guys soon. Love y'all.